Howdy. I apologize. I just drove for 5 hours and this is my driving cap. I know it helps with the sun for the most part, but yeah, things sits in the car and that's it. A few words. Not words of wisdom. There's no wisdom here. But a few words from childish memories. We don't want to call any of this experience because it isn't. But it is lived English says lived experience. It's just lived stories that happened, things that happened to me. It was one of the best drives, 5 hours, in my life today. And it was interrupted. The part that was best was interrupted midpoint. But I have to share anyway. When I was young, 4 to 5, I ran into this amazing book. It was about a little girl with a doggy who ran away from home and went into the woods. And she was fearless. Night came and she wasn't afraid. In fact, she was talking to the animals in the woods. And this was such a great story and so well written that in fact the way the story was written made me feel like I was the little girl going through the woods and experiencing all of her feelings. And the roller coaster of feelings as she makes friends with the bunny rabbit and with the bear. This little girl, I'm sure she was 8, but I was 4 to 5 when I was reading the story, and that doing was helping me get to learn how to read. But 4 or 5-year-old me felt in the shoes of this little girl. Helped me get to know to read before 5. Today, in my driving, I learned about this lady who lives in Maine, in the woods, and she speaks with the animals. She's a scientist, has a couple of graduate degrees in science. She's a scientist, but she speaks with the animals. In fact, she had a dove, a male dove of all things, as a editor of the text that she's writing, the scientific text that she's writing. And one day the dove left. And then the dove came back. And it turns out the dove was looking for a date dove. And then eventually the dove couldn't find a date dove. But the lady scientist found a partner, a date dove, for the dove. And that's when my listening to the story was interrupted. My point is that we like vicarious living. We do. We like vicarious living. When I heard this story today, it brought me back to when I was 5 and I was reading actually the story so well written that helped me learn how to read. Vicarious living rules, right? If we could only do more of this, but also listen to animals.